Hey there, good day. How are you? Hope you are doing well. My name is Nick Pino, and I'm the proud owner of a multi level marketing company of my own. Very proud of it and very happy to be a part of this industry. I want to share with you just a little bit about some thoughts about what we call scams. And I hear a lot of people talking about uh, on Facebook. In fact, recently a well-known comedian posted a video about uh, kind of a satire on multi-level marketing, and in essence, basically saying, "Oh well, it's just a scheme or a pyramid scheme or whatnot." A lot of videos go over that idea. Of why pyramid scheme is not really the appropriate term. I won't take time to do that right now. All I can say to you is this: if you're one of the people that would easily say, well, it's just a scam, it's just a scheme or pyramid and so forth. I want to propose to you that that is a smokescreen. It's very easy to just get skeptical and say, you know what, there's a lot of scams out there. And there are. I'm not saying there aren't some. But to consistently say things, well, isn't that a pyramid scheme? Isn't that, a scam and so forth? Because we are becoming a skeptical society and we're sick and tired of being taken. Point well made. But I want to challenge you just today, and this is just a brief little thing I'm going to post on my channel. Love to get your feedback and so forth. Um, I want to propose to you that to say those kinds of things, no matter what we say, no matter what someone is in this industry might tell you, you might still say, you know what, that's just still a pyramid scheme and I don't want to be taken. Or there was a multi-level company that took me and I kind of, I just got ripped off a lot of money and I never made any money with it. So you know what, I've got a bad taste in my mouth. Guess what? I've been in that place in the past. But I've also found there are companies that are worth their salt. Just like any company, there are good companies and there are bad companies. But I want to challenge you to not be catty about this term and be through. I would urge you not to do that anymore. To keep going around saying, "Isn't that a scam? Isn't that a pyramid scheme?" I want to propose to you that there are many people, first of all, that have testimonials. That's the first thing. There are people with testimonials, real people that have gone through crises that are honestly nearly lost their, in fact, in the company I'm in, people that have nearly lost their homes, people that couldn't afford medicine for their children. I mean, life giving medicine like insulin. And so what it does is that it basically discredits is your effort in a way. Maybe you don't realize it, but it's discrediting and demoralizing to the person who honestly has done well with this thing. People that are real like you and me. Okay, I've been a teacher. Right now, I drive Uber and Lyft. Um, I do side work and so forth to make ends meet. But I still am a part of this industry because I believe in it. I believe that it truly helps and blesses people, and it truly can honor God. So to go around throwing around words like, you know what, that's just a scam, it's just a pyramid scheme. What you're basically saying is, I don't care what the facts say. I don't care that there are stories of people who truly have done well with this thing. I still think it is just a bunch of malarkey, and I don't think that it's not worth anybody's time or energy. You're entitled to your own opinion, but the problem is when your opinion interferes with someone else's livelihood or potential livelihood. And that's where I get frustrated, is because I feel like that when you consistently throw out, I'm not saying this is everybody, but when you consistently throw out a message saying, well, that's just a scam or a pyramid scheme, don't waste your time, what you're basically doing is that there is someone that possibly heard in your earshot that potentially could do well with this, that is not you, that is not about it or not frustrated with it. But what you're doing is, I compare it to going into a grocery store where there might maybe there was a storm coming and people went and bought out a lot of stuff and the shelves are empty in certain areas, and there might be, like, say, one thing of milk left, or one, very few loaves of bread left, and yet you would stand in the way. Let me ask you, would you stand in the way of that person purchasing the needs that they have in a desperate situation? Of course not. But when you tell them that it's just a scam or a pyramid scheme over and over again, what you're doing potentially to someone who you may not know who it is you are toxic. You are being toxic to that person and telling them that, you know what, I know you're screwed over. I know you're having financial difficulties, but don't try this other thing that really, whether you want it to or not, could potentially be a lifeboat for that person, or a kind of a life raft to get them out of the bind that they're in. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's really not your call. It's that person's decision. You say, well, they can decide for themselves, but you got to understand there's power in your words. There's power for life and there's power for death, and that's actually biblical. So I want to challenge you, please don't use those kinds of words, scams and so forth, and say, you know what, my experience has not been positive, but you know what, it may not be my experience may not be supportive of it, but you might experience a different experience than I did with that company. That might be a better way to word it, rather than to run around using these words scam and pyramid scheme and so forth. I urge you, please stop using those kinds of words. They're only damaging, they're only hurting, and it very likely, if you've not really spent the time investing, you say, well, I've spent the time investigating. That may be true, but if you really haven't spent the time, how can you truly speak intelligently of something that you really have not been a part of? And even if you haven't been a part of, I can tell you that there are companies that do, while there may be some sour companies that have not really done well, and they've maybe not had good business practices, I can tell you right now that my company I'm in, and other companies as well, have had very good business practices, and people are literally making a living, making money, or even side income. There's nothing wrong with that as well. That can benefit from this sort of thing. So again, I don't want to beat a dead horse in the ground. I just want to challenge you. Please be positive to people. Encourage people. The Bible says encourage one another and build each other up. Don't be so catty about things like that. Please, I beg you, for the sake of the person that, this isn't even just about me making money. This is about, let's be using, have seasoned salt words that are positive, that will encourage one another, even if it's not something that we necessarily would be a part of. Thank you for listening. You may comment below.